Ronaldo or Messi? Mbappe or Haaland? No matter what you think about these players, you know they are extremely good at what they do. They are also able to continuously progress and become better and better and better. And one of the reasons for that is that they all have that one important quality. They are modest. Now, you're going to tell me, what, modest? These guys show off all the time. How are they modest? Now, I didn't say they were humble. I said they were modest. A lot of people don't like this idea of modesty. They think, oh, it's about knowing your limits. It's going to stop you from being able to achieve more. It's going to stop you from reaching your best or even going beyond that. Well, that's not quite true. Imagine, for example, that you buy a house. You buy a house in the middle of nowhere, and you have to build a fence around it. You have to know the limits of the terrain that you have bought. What do you start doing? Do you start thinking about everything that's not yours to be able to draw that fence? No, that's everywhere in the world. You don't own everywhere in the world. You concentrate on what it is that you have bought and that is yours so that you can build a fence around it. Similarly, modesty is about knowing your limits. But knowing your limits doesn't mean that you constantly think about everything that you can't do. That's useless. There's a lot of things we can't do. Most people can't do most things. Instead, what we concentrate on is knowing what we can do. And as you can imagine, constantly reminding yourself what it is that you can actually do gives you so much confidence. The kind of confidence that these football players have when they're on the pitch. They're about to attempt that pass, do that trick. They see the goal and nobody else thinks about shooting, but they do because they have that confidence of knowing what they can do. They've done it before and they can do it again. And it has another advantage, knowing your limits, being modest. Let's take the example of pole vaulting. Now, if you've never watched pole vaulting, I highly recommend that you do. It's an amazing sport. And the best at it is Mondo Duplantis. That guy is just an extraterrestrial. He's amazing. The beauty of pole vaulting is you have to choose the height you're going to jump before you jump it. So here's my guy, Mondo Duplantis. He's with all the other competitors and they're all jumping these smaller heights and he's waiting. He's waiting for the much higher heights. Are you thinking, well, he's full of himself. He thinks he's better than everybody else. No, Mondo knows what he can do. He knows that jumping these smaller heights is a waste of energy. It's a waste of his skills. He thinks, I'm going to wait for the higher heights that I know already that I can jump confidently. That way he doesn't waste his energy and skills and talents. But what happens when he gets to that height that he's never jumped before? Well, you see, he's gathered all this confidence from knowing what he can do and having actually done it, that now he's thinking, yeah, why not attempt that extra height? And he's broken so many world records like this. So, what has this all got to do with public speaking? Well, stop thinking about what you can't do. Concentrate on what you can do. Don't think, I can never speak in front of people. It's too debilitating. I'm too shy. I can only speak with notes. I have to read them. And I can't speak without them. Stop thinking this way. Instead, think about all the times that you have spoken publicly and freely. Like that time you raised your hand in class and actually gave the right answer in front of an entire class of pupils. Or maybe the teacher picked you, but you still answered. Or that time at a wedding where you had to give a speech. You got up and you were all shaky and you actually read the notes, but it doesn't matter. You got up, you can do it. All that time you were with your friends, loads of your friends, and you were so enthusiastic about this film you watched, you recounted the entire film to them without any notes. You can do it. Another great thing about modesty, ask anyone in the athletic world. The nicest gals and guys are the pole vaulters, the high jumpers, and the decathlonians. These guys have to be so modest, and somehow it seems to contribute in them having a nice, attractive personality. And that's so useful for public speaking, to have this attractive personality that draws people in when you're doing a presentation. So, stop thinking about what you can't do. Start thinking about what you can do and how you're going to overcome those limits. And modestly speak up.